Hey guys, I know I haven't posted anything for a while, but I just wanted to kind of reconnect with the group of people that I'm connected to and just kind of update on what's been happening. Went through crazy changes because I was in South America and planning on staying, and then I got news that my visa had got denied. So I went from thinking I could stay in the country for another year and a half, 2 years, to having to leave. And so, pondering the ideas of going to a different country in South America, or maybe potentially coming back to Canada, because I still had I left Canada so quick. I still had things kind of like pending, and it's hard to do from outside of the country and just kind of deal with certain things. And so, instead of going to another country in South America, I decided that I was going to take a short trip back to Canada. And I don't know what it was that was driving me here, but there was something um, maybe that I couldn't see, that even though maybe deep in my heart I knew that it might not be the optimum choice. um, I felt that there was something that maybe I couldn't see. There was some message in it. There was something I needed to see. There was something I needed to understand. There was something, closure I needed to get. And so I decided to come back, um, after I started my whole spiritual awakening, because everything started for me here in Canada. And so after being away for about a year, about 15 months or so, coming back here, I still communicate with one person in my family. But guys, there's stuff out there. There's information out there about not going back. And for me, even coming here, it wasn't so much plugging myself into the family or anything like that. It was just more coming here to deal with some things, see one family member. But guys, when you go through the spiritual awakening, you can no longer see things the same way. um, your eyes are so open now, and it's very it's painful. It hurts because you feel a lot of guilt, right? You feel like, why am I seeing this way, or like, if this why am I seeing this family member for who they are, and now I have to make these difficult decisions with respect to them, or friends, or whatever the case may be. But guys, so much has shifted. It's interesting because for people in South America, they think, oh, I would love to go to Canada. And yeah, Canada is beautiful, has great things. But for a person that's spiritually awoke, it's when you come back, you see things completely different. You no longer just see it as like, oh, this is my country, Canada. It's Even though I've been here, I've had a hard time connecting with people. I've had a hard time uh, going to places I used to go, activities I used to like. I used to always do things like yoga and stuff like that, and like just exercise, take care of my health, even food. And guys, everything is just, it's like I have to make an effort to be in the same vicinity that I was before. And it's like, I feel like um, so much skin has sort of burned off over the last year and a bit, that it's incredible that a lot of you can't believe some of the things that you were doing before. You can't believe some of the energies you weren't catching before. I never knew, um, guys, the extent. And this is something very important I wanted to share. Is like, I when I was kind of growing up, I had challenges with, like, I was such a motivated and driven person, but just had a hard time putting one step in front of the other one, and I just couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand how a person, like, so dedicated to his life, so motivated, so inspired, had all these different struggles. And then there's other people around you that are just kind of living so simple and everything is good, and you just can't, the dots don't connect. And it wasn't until I came back this time around that I could feel the energy, guys. The energy of having good people around you. Do not underestimate the amount that toxic energy, other people's toxic energy, can extract from yours. And don't underestimate also the extent that positive energy can move you forward. For people that have been black sheeps in their family, that have been scapegoated, we've been used to like having everything extracted from us, you know? All the unresolved trauma, anger, resentment, shame that was never ours, you know? It gets projected, guys, so heavily onto us. And it wasn't until this time I came back and I could just notice the difference that, you know, when we're around good friends and family, we're supposed to feel supported, supposed to feel loved, supposed to feel inspired, not dragged down, you know? And so it's been um it's almost feels like another awakening, guys, within an awakening, because when I was away in South America, there was still a part of me that's like, oh, you know, I kind of miss Canada. There's like certain things, and yeah, it gives you comfort with certain things. Canada is a great place to live, but it's like since I came back here, it's like I feel like I don't fit in anymore, and it's like no matter what I do, I try going to the shopping center. I try taking the bus, taking the SkyTrain. I actually been trying to do things so that I can experience and I can have contrast between what I was doing in South America and here. And once you kind of go through this process of like spiritually cleansing yourself, guys, don't be surprised if you can't live where you were living before. It doesn't matter where you were, how green, how lush, wherever in the world that might be. If you spiritually awoke in that place, it's possible that you're not going to be living there. Um, it's possible that the right people that you're gonna meet are not gonna be the same place. I can't tell you, just to kind of give you guys an example, just being away in South America, in Colombia for the year that I was there, the people, the amazing people, because I felt like I was transmitting a different energy, you know? And the people that you meet, the people that you attract, you're just, it's a hard sell to come back to where you were before. And when you come back to where you were before, it's often you're going to realize why you left in the first place. And so a couple things I just want to leave with you guys is that you have to be extremely cautious about um, plugging yourself back in any kind of like, for people that have been in black sheep scapegoats that have extracted themselves from such families. You have to be extremely diligent in how you if you are interacting, or if you're interacting with one person or whatever the case might be, any kind of communication, you have to be very careful, because guys, their energy is going to seep through the phone, it's going to seep through messages. And it wasn't until I came back that I realized how toxic the situation was. Guys, I can't you need to listen to what I'm like. I can't express this strongly enough, is like, when this time around, I couldn't believe how I like stayed alive. And it's just because there's so much negative energy, and it's like we don't when you're always around it, when you're always around toxic energy, you don't realize how toxic it is, and you don't realize how much it's affecting you until you step out. And once you step out and you cleanse yourself and you start to see the possibilities that are out there for you, the people that you meet, the energy that you're transmitting, the things that you're attracting into your life, realizing that God is also walking this path with you, whoever you believe in, whoever your God might be, your higher self, there's something protecting you, there's something helping you move in the right direction for you. And it's like when you come back, you just realize that the relationships that you thought that you had, maybe some of the relationships, maybe you valued them before, but you just can't interact with the same people anymore. Um, and there's just nothing that you can really do about it. You just don't have the desire. It's like you have to almost feel like you have to put yourself into a box to be able to communicate about the certain things that maybe old friends and family members are still talking about. And so it's one of the feelings that you get is like a feeling of like not fitting in because you don't really fit in your old country, and you're also not fully comfortable in your new environment, be whether it's a different country or whatever, a different city. So you're like in this kind of like limbo a little bit, you know. But as you kind of explore, and sometimes it's like when you, for me, I can say it wasn't until I came back here, and I'm leaving on Saturday, going back to South America, a different country. And I was thinking like I was gonna stay here a month, and then guys, once I got here, within, no joke, when I got back, within I didn't have a flight booked out. After getting back here, within 3 or 4 days, 3 days I think it was, I had already booked my flight, and instead of staying a month, I'm like staying 12 days. So I kind of had some financial stuff that I wanted to get out of the way to deal with. Like I said, I left Canada so fast, and I feel like I got a bit of closure um, with respect to some of the attachments that I was still, dealing with, And so the reason for this video is I just wanted to, I know I haven't connected for a while. I just wanted to share, guys. I had so many feelings, so many emotions that I was processing going back to your country. It's like as soon as I stepped foot in the airport, it felt different. It felt different when going through immigration, going through Canadian immigration. I didn't feel like a Canadian. And I mean, I don't know. It's super. It's feelings that I'm still trying to um, put a label on, or to be able to identify and define. But that's what it feels like to me. I'm like, when I'm at the immigration or at the airport, I'm like, I just, something doesn't feel right. I feel blessed to have this opportunity and to be, you know, my home country, where I can come and I have a passport and I can fly around, and that passport is like helps you get places. But as far as living here, guys, like just even exchanging a couple text messages with some of the people I knew, you just realize that with this spiritual growth, you've grown so much that um and it's like you've not only grown so much, but it's like you were not even really in control of the process. Something greater than yourself wanted you to grow to get to your next self, or a higher self, that it's just, you have to lessen yourself as a human being, you feel like, to be able to communicate with the people that you were communicating before. And the more that you have to put yourself into that box, it feels like, to be able to maintain some of those old relationships, you kind of feel like you're chipping away at your personal sovereignty. um and it's just, it's a it's an empty feeling. And you realize, for myself, I realized why I left. And it's scary because you feel like you don't belong here, so you kind of feel like this door's closed for you, even though it might not be closed. In a way, you feel like it is. But yet other doors haven't fully opened for you. So you're in this, like, you kind of feel like you're in a bit of a, between a rock and a hard place, and you're trying to find your way through life and navigate and stuff like that. But if you're going through your spiritual awakening, um, expect a lot of changes, guys. A lot of the things that you were doing before, it's like, it's just not gonna do it for you. Even if they were healthy activities, it's just, you've changed too much. You've gone through too much of a shift. And so those are the things that I wanted to share. If people are going through spiritual journeys, or they are trying to navigate some of these family things, and um, are thinking about making moves, it's not going to be, sometimes it requires, you guys, sometimes it requires to see things from an elevated self, right? So if you left the country or whatever the case might be, not in the best state, when you go back, and when I say go back, not saying that you go back and you're jamming with the same people all the time, and you're getting involved in those kinds of relationships. But when you go back, sometimes when you go back and you look at things with a different lens, you see things completely different. And sometimes that gives you the closure that you needed to be able to carry on, because we are so conditioned, we are so attached to people growing up, that the idea and the feeling of separating yourself is so painful. Um, it's just, you can't imagine a harder thing to process going through your life, to basically allow um, to let people relationships dissolve, and there's just nothing that you can do about it, and expect changes, guys. Expect changes. Like I said, I don't want to make this video too long. I just wanted to share a couple things. I've been processing so much feelings myself that it was kind of hard. I didn't really even know, um, what angle to sort of discuss some of the things. But I just wanted to kind of make it general and just talk about, the spiritual awakening and all the changes that come with it, and going back to the country that kind of initiated your wake up call and your spiritual awakening. So just wanted to share. If you guys have any questions, leave it in the comment. And glad I took the time to reconnect with you guys, and hope to see you again soon. Ciao.